What's up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about why buying options is a scam and why you should sell options instead. Now, the funny part is when you mention options to anyone, right, they'll automatically assume the worst. They'll say, don't do that, you're going to lose money. And that's because they either bought options or know people who bought options. Very rarely do you know anyone who will tell you they sold options and got wrecked. Now, you will hear stories, right, of people who might have sold options and stopped because maybe they tried poor man's covered calls, right? That didn't work. Maybe they just got right into covered calls and bought shares on stocks that were falling, right? But ultimately, people who stick with it and especially follow my strategies are going to make money when it comes to selling options. Now, there is reasons why people might want to stop, right? Like in a super bullish market where everything's going up, maybe they'll see, more satisfaction or just better gains holding, right? I've never argued that. But over the long run, I do believe this strategy is going to work. And that's the thing. A lot of people just don't have it within them to see over the long run, right? They want quick gains. And I'm here to tell you why you shouldn't do that, right? So it's very simple. If you go and pull up options charts, right, it'll almost always show a big decline. Now, obviously, in this case, this is down 95% over the last 3 months. Of course, the stock has been going up as well. But keep in mind, right, like if you were buying out of the money calls, right, even if it was going up, if you were too far out of the money, it's not going to work just because of theta. In the end of the day, options are always decaying, right? They're always losing value. And the easiest way to prove that, right, is like, let's just pick a random stock to look at, like IonQ. Notice how whenever you pick the options that are closest to expiration, right, if we look at these right here, right, let's just say, you wanted to sell puts on the $40, 4 days away, right? But then if you go and pull out 32 days, right, it's always going to be more expensive, right? Every single time. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the closer the option gets to expiration, the lower it's going to be, which is not an asset you want to be holding. Now, I will say, if you're looking to buy calls and you want to buy, 46 days out, then the wisest thing to do is going to be buying something deep in the money. Why? Because it'll hold value and won't decay on you super fast. But every second that you hold an option that's out of the money, it is going to be losing value. Now, of course, yes, if the stock is absolutely ripping, then you could make money doing this. But it's just not a risk you're going to want to be willing to take. Now, listen, are there people who have success buying options? Yes, there are. I'm not going to say there isn't. But when it comes down to it, like the skill you need as a trader, the knowledge you need, the discipline, the emotional control, like there's so much involved that makes it very difficult. Now, when it comes to buying leaps, right, the reason why that works is because, let's just go back to IonQ for just the same example. So if you go to buy a call, right, and it's 39 days away and you pick one of these, right, that's deep in the money, the reason why this works is because when you look at the delta, right, where is delta? Oh, right here, 0.77. This means that your options are moving at 77% of the rate that the stock would move per dollar, right? So every dollar your option's moving 77 cents, right? The theta is negative, which means the theta is actually going to be good for you, right, as long as it's that deep in the money. And ultimately, you're going to get to buy 100 shares for $1,400 instead of buying 100 shares for what would be $4,000. So that's why this works, right? That's why leaps deep in the money is the only way I'd really recommend anyone to buy options. But we're also used to zero date, right? We're also used to, just looking for those huge gains. We've seen stories of people on social media and everything. And listen, that is possible, right? And I will say this. If you want to become a successful option buyer, I would say selling options is the best way to do that, because the more familiar I've become with premiums and how they move. Listen, I've only bought options once since we started this challenge, and it was a loss. I know I put a video out, so if you want to, go check it out. I bought zero date on Snow. It was the day after earnings. Snow ripped up. I thought it would have a continuation, as it usually does. Almost every time, the day after earnings, stocks have continuation. And of course, the one time I bought options, it didn't, right? If we pull up the Snow chart, I'll show you guys. Right, so I sold options on Snow the day of earnings, and sure enough, what day did I buy options on? Maybe it wasn't the day of. Maybe it was a couple days later, was it? Yeah, so of course, I bought options. Yeah, this is the day. So I basically Snow had earnings, right? It did have continuation the next day, consolidated. Today I decided let me play some zero date calls, and of course it completely fell and they expired worthless, right? So with that being said, yes, that's the only time I've bought options since starting this challenge, but I've been seeing the market much clearer. There's been tons of times where I considered buying calls and it did go up. I didn't actually do it. But the point is like if you ever really want to be a successful option buyer, my number one advice would be selling options instead, because then you're going to see how often the premiums expire worthless and probably not want to ever do it. But obviously, the more you watch the charts, the more you study the markets, the better your sixth sense is going to be, and the more likely you're going to be correct. So if you want my best advice, right, I think buying options for the most part is a scam. I do think, yes, there are worlds where you can have success with it. It's like buying a meme coin, right? Obviously, the appeal to it, I understand the appeal to it, right? The appeal is like you're getting crazy gains while still doing trustworthy companies. But the charts are just, they're designed to kill premiums. I mean, look at Snow after earnings. Look what it's done. It's literally just consolidated for days, right? Even on the day where it went up, right? It's like, are you going to be so like skilled that you're going to catch this 1 5 minute candle, right? I'm struggling to zoom in, but this 1 5 minute candle, like, are you going to be that good that after all these days of it doing nothing, you're catching these little moves? I don't know, man. To me, that just is too difficult. I've tried it. I tried it for years, right? I've tried to trade the NASDAQ. I've tried to trade all of these instruments, and every single time it was just losing my money when the market was chopping. Then it finally starts going up and I would close profit and then go short. It was just, mentally, I think it's extremely taxing and I think it's extremely difficult. Where if you just stick to something like selling puts, and we've discussed this a million times, the beautiful part is when it goes up, you're going to make money. When it goes down, as long as it's slow, you're going to make money. Like a market like this, right? This is a very challenging market to trade. I know in hindsight. See, this is how you know you're maturing, right? As a trader, is like when you look at this in hindsight, you're going to say, "Oh, I would have easily caught long and then went short." Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, "How the heck would I have known to go long here? And how the heck would I have known to go short here?" You just physically wouldn't have, right? But if let's just say you would have sold 167 puts, 165 puts, even 168 puts, even 170 puts, you would have been fine, right? Because all of this would have killed the premium, again, killing option buyers, and then it would have ended the day out of the money for you, which is exactly what you want. Now, ultimately, if I was to sell puts on something like Snow right now, I would always look to target a strike price below at least one of these lows, right? Maybe 167, maybe 168, like in this range, because you always want to look at it like, is it going to be a good buy if I have to buy it, right? So that'll talk about the play we're in right now on Con L. It's like, when we look at it, right, it's like, to me, the possibility of it being below 55 by Friday, listen, it could very easily happen, but it's going to have to go through a lot to get there, right? Truth be told, crypto has been very bullish, right? So that's the first thing. You're talking about it fighting a bull trend. You're talking about it successfully winning. And then you're talking about it dumping even further. Because let's not forget, even if it falls down and then hovers around, right, and does this, like, we're still going to have chances to exit for profit, right? The only way we're not going to have a chance to exit for profit is if it literally does that, which the odds are just so stacked up against that at this moment that I like where I'm at. I like the fact that, if it gets below this, I have to buy. And if it doesn't, I'm collecting premium and calling it a day. Now, I do want it to go up because I don't want to be in this play for too long because, as you guys have probably know, I want to get into MU and find an entry before the earnings report. So that's obviously the strategy, right? That's where the money in the account is. I have 3,900, but I'm not necessarily looking to deploy it at this exact second. At the moment, I'm looking to ride this play into some profit and then get into MU before earnings, and that will be mostly what we would look for in the week. Obviously, there's other plays as well. If the MU play goes well, just like Broadcom did last week, then we'll get in plays the next day, right? Very simple. I don't overthink it. I try not to hesitate. I try to just take the plays, and that's the beauty of it, right? When you're trading, buying options, you have to be such a sniper. When you're selling options, you don't have to overthink. There's a lot of ways it can go right? When you buy options, there's a lot of ways it can go wrong. when you sell options, there's a lot of ways it can go right, and that's really the big difference and the big point I wanted to get across. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think there's only like 8 or 9 slots left for the wait list. So 91 people, I believe, have signed up. I opened it for 100. When we get to the 100, I'm gonna, there's just not gonna be anywhere to sign up anymore. So at that point, I will be working on getting the community ready. My plan is to have it ready by next week, and then we'll start, and that'll be it. So if you want to get in for free, 100% guaranteed, make sure to sign up. I'm not even gonna put the link on this description. You're gonna have to go back to the video before this because it only has 8 or 9 signups left anyway. So I don't want to tease people, but that's going to be the plan. First 100 get in for free, then maybe I'll let more people in for free at a later date. I don't know, but I just know that the first 100 are guaranteed. They're in. They will be receiving emails once we go live, and that will be that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you see my point of view and why I feel like buying options is a scam. Do I think you can make money with it? Absolutely. But do I think it's for everyone? Absolutely not. Do I think selling options is for everyone? I would say a lot more people than buying options. So make sure to, again, check out all the other videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.